Jazz, KDA, country, punk, pentakill, there were so many amazing traits and comps in set 10. And along with the incredible music, it ranks exceptionally high on the list of potentially best sets of all time. And guess what? It's back. So here's 10 comps to play in the revival of set 10, and to celebrate the launch of its return, we've now got all of our set 10 video guides on our website for free. So you can check those out in full for yourselves by clicking the link in the description. So let's get into it then, and our first comp of the day is KDA All Out. This comp uses a full KDA setup with Ahri and Akali being the main damage dealers, with Echo and Nico being the tanks. This is a fast 8 comp that uses either of the 4 costs Ahri or Akali as the main headliner. With items, you want a blue buff on Ahri for faster casts and Nashers and Gunblade to heal up the squad. For Akali, you'll build Omnivamp as she gets focused loads and will stall loads of time for you. So BT and Hodge are great choices to do that, and a red buff is also fantastic as she spreads anti-heal so well. You can itemize the 3 costs Nico or Echo as your main tank, and they'll take any of those classic tank items like Warmogs, Bramble or Dragon's Claw, or whatever you get really. In this comp, you want to prioritize combat augments, so look out for Jeweled Lotus, Cybernetic Uplinks or Cybernetic Bulk, as it all just works really well with the KDA percentage health. You want to get yourself on a streak as quickly as you can because we need to save up as much money as possible for our level 8 rolldown. Make sure to hold all the KDA units along the way. You can put AP onto Seraphine and AD onto Kai'Sa during stages 2 and 3, and once you've got your upgraded 4 costs at level 8 with your headliner Akali or Ahri, you'll be then ready to push for level 9 to add in that 5 cost Sona to buff up your team even further. Now onto one of our favourite reroll comps ever, it's Country Roads Reroll. In this one, we'll be playing around the full country squad so we can summon that Dreadsteed Hecarim. We'll be re-rolling our 3 cost carries in Samira and Urgot to buff up Hecarim even more, and we'll be looking at getting 3-star sets and Vex along the way as well. With the headliner, make sure you pick up the country one on either Samira or Urgot. For items, Samira will take an Infinity Edge for tons of damage, followed by a Giant Slayer and a Last Whisper for armor penetration. Urgot will take a BT, Giant Slayer and a red buff, and our tank will be set here, and he'll take a Warmogs for big HP, followed by a Gargle Stoneplate and a Bramble or Dragon's Claw, depending on the lobby. Lastly, any AP can go onto Vex, and she works best with a Death Cap, Archangels and a Spear of Shojin to keep her casting. As this is a level 7 slow roll comp, we want to look out for augments like Prismatic Ticket or Heroic Grab Bag, and for combat you can look out for things like 3 to Crowd or You Have My Sword. As always, you want to get yourself on an early streak, playing around country as quickly as you can. And once you have activated 5 country early, you'll be super strong and should be able to streak during stage 3, so look out for those country headliners. Once you're level 7, you want to stay above 50 gold and slow roll until you have your 3-star 3-cost carries. Samira and Urgot are going to be your main priority, and you can also look out for Set or Vex as well. And if you didn't manage to 3-star these, you can just place your tank items onto Thresh later on instead. Now onto the next comp, and I hope you've got your dancing shoes on as we're going to the disco. This Panic at the Disco comp uses a mix of disco and legendary 5-cost units, with our 4-cost discos Twisted Fate and Blitzcrank being the main carries. When it comes to items, it's a very heavy AP comp, so if you have an AD setup, you should probably look elsewhere. TF loves a Shojin to keep him casting, a Death Cap for tons of damage, and a red buff as he loves attack speed and spreads anti-heal extremely well. Our main tank will be Blitzcrank, and he loves a Steadfast Heart for the extra durability, a Warmogs and a Dragon's Claw. Our secondary carry you want to itemize here is Sona, and she loves attack speed, so look out for Rage Blade and Static Shiv for Magic Pen. Leftover tank items can be placed onto Alawi too. Now this comp has so many great augments to look out for. First up, there's Double the Funk, which makes positioning much easier and procs the Disco Pulse every 2.5 seconds. Little Buddies is also amazing as we play the lower cost Disco units, so they buff up our main carries and 5 costs. Lastly, there's also Keepers. We place all units next to the Disco Ball, so we're going to get so much shields at the start of combat. This comp is super strong throughout all stages of the game. Make sure you look out for an early Disco headliner, as you'll probably end up win streaking. Prioritize your economy though, as this comp heavily spikes at level 9 with all the 5-cost units we add too. For our headliners, we want to look out for Twisted Fate or Blitzcrank, and you'd rather have them with the Disco trait. Don't roll too much when you hit level 8, just enough to stabilize, as we need to hit level 9 so we can add in Alawi, Ziggs and Sona. Oh, and one final thing, make sure you turn the music all the way up, because the disco soundtrack really is incredible. However, if disco really isn't your thing and heavy metal is, then we've got you covered with our Pentakill comp. This comp plays around the Pentakill and KDA traits, with the main carries being the 4-cost Karthus, Akali and Viego. This one is super flexible and uses all sorts of items you come across. Now first up, we've got the Grim Reaper Karthus, and you want him casting loads to get him a Spear of Shojin, Adaptive Helm and a Jeweled Gauntlet. AD items will be put onto Akali, and as we mentioned earlier, she wants a Hand of Justice or BT for sustain along with a red buff. She's also going to be your Pentakill emblem holder here. Lastly, Viego will take the rest of the AD items like BT, Titans and Giant Slayer will seriously make him rock out. Any tank items you find can be placed onto Maud or Yorick. With augments, look out for Metalhead as it will make your Pentakill units immune to CC and they'll heal on takedown. We can also look out for new recruits as we can fit our level 9 board in at level 8, or any economy augments like Level Up or Patient Study to get us to level 8 faster. Starting the game, you want to play around Superfan or Pentakill for a strong stage 2, so look out for Olaf or Gnar headliners. With your level 8 roll down, you want to look out for Karthus or Viego as your headliners. Now this board is extremely strong once your main carries are upgraded, because then you can easily push to high levels and add in legendary units like Yorick. Remember to take those spatulas from the carousel so Akali can join our heavy metal band too. Now let's get on to another reroll comp, and this one is one of the most iconic comps in set 10. It's Jazz Jam. This comp uses a ton of traits with Jazz at the core, with a 2-cost Bard and 3-cost Misfortune being your main carries. You want to prioritize either Misfortune or Bard as your headliners, but make sure it gives that Jazz +1. We play with so many traits, and Jazz gains bonus health and damage for each non-unique trait. You can play this comp with most items as we have both AD and AP carries. Misfortune will take a Rage Blade, Last Whisper and a Death Blade, and Bard loves the blue buff and Adaptive Helm for more casting, followed by a Jeweled Gauntlet for the extra damage. Tank items can be put onto either Nico or Echo, and they can use Warmogs, Steadfast Heart and a Sunfire Cape for anti-healing. Look out for the That's Jazz Baby augment, as your Jazz units will gain permanent health, attack speed and AD and AP. So in the later stages, your MF, Bard and Lucian will be absolute machines. As this is a reroll comp, you can also look out for Prismatic Ticket and Shopping Spree so we can hit our upgrades as fast as possible. When playing this comp, you want to play around Superfan early game, and you will be on the weaker side early on, but level 7 is where we really spike by activating so many different traits. The goal here will be to build up the economy so we can slow roll on level 7 for all of our upgrades, and here we want a 3-star MF, Bard and Nico or Echo if they aren't contested in other KDA boards. You'll be insanely strong when you get your 3 stars online, and then all that's left is to push levels to find Lucian, as getting the extra Jazz with all of your traits activated will buff up your board and help you take home the win. On to our next comp then, and this was one of the strongest comps throughout set 10, our Sounds of Valor comp. This board uses an insanely strong frontline of Edgelords and Sentinel, and the main carries will be the 3-cost Riven and Yone with the helping hand of Viego and Caitlyn. For items, you want to focus on Riven first and foremost, and she loves a BT for sustain, Giant Slayer for more damage against tanks, and a QSS as Edgelords can jump through enemies and get onto the backline. After that, you can itemize Viego or Yone, and these both use similar items like Titans, BT or an Edge of Night. Caitlyn uses Infinity Edge and Spear of Shojin, and this combo lets her snipe people across the board, making them low for when your Edgelords finally get to them. Tank items aren't really necessary in this comp, but you will want some form of armor penetration and anti-heal, so you could also go for an Evan Shroud and a Sunfire Cape. For augments in this comp, you want to focus mainly on combat, as there's so many good ones to buff up your Edgelords. Live for Danger is great, as it will make your Edgelords attacks deal 40% of their damage to enemies within 1 hex range. The Harm Assist augments help your Riven, Yone and Viego to stay alive, as they'll heal for the amount of damage they do too. And lastly, if you are struggling to hit your upgrades, you can also go for those reroll augments like March of Progress and Shopping Spree. As Riven is an 8-bit unit, you want to start stacking it early on, so play around Corki with a Sentinel frontline and you'll be able to farm stacks as early as stage 2. On the way to level 7, keep hold of your Edgelord champs, as at level 7 you want to play either 3 or 5 Edgelord. Once you do get level 7, here's where you'll slow roll to hit your 3-star Yone and Riven. When it comes to headliners, 8-bit is definitely the better option, but take Edgelord if you need to, as it can be a bit risky skipping it out. Once your carries are all upgraded, sit back, relax and watch them go from round to round, one-shotting all the enemy units. Next up, we have another fast 8 board, and this one was extremely popular. It's our Grammy Nominees comp. This comp is really fun because we can play around Heartsteel throughout stage 2 and 3, making us extremely strong from stage 4 onwards. Our main damage dealers here will be Ezreal and Jhin, with Yorick and Alawi being our main tanks. You want to get yourself a blue buff, red buff and Infinity Edge on your Ezreal, and this combo is extremely lethal as it makes him cast super often, with his ability doing so much damage, plus it also spreads that red buff really easily. Jhin always requires a mana item for faster casting, so look out for another blue buff followed by a Gunblade to heal up the team. For tank items on Alawi, you want to prioritize an Evan Shroud for armor pen to help out Ezreal and Jhin, followed by a Bramble Vest and a Dragon's Claw for extra resistances. For your headliner, you want to get yourself a big shot Edgelord, as we'll be playing Misfortune later on as well, so activating 4 big shot makes our board deal insane amounts of damage. For augments, we can look out for bigger shot, you have my sword for the extra BF sword and AD, or overwhelming force as it gives you a death blade, IE and a BF sword. Now with this comp there's 2 ways of playing. You can look to win streak playing around a strong superfan comp early, or look to lose streak with Heartsteel. Either way, we're going to need to keep our economy super strong so we have more gold to roll at level 8. Speaking of level 8, when we get there our main focus is getting the Edgelord headliner followed by an upgraded frontline, and usually Thresh 2 and a set will make you stable for stage 4. The main goal of this comp though is going to level 9 to add in those legendary units and complete our board. And if you do get everything online, this is one of the most capped boards you can play in set 10. Oh, and one final thing, make sure your bench is empty as Jin has a choir to conduct. Okay, now back to everyone's favourite reroll comp in set 10, Punk. This comp is all about rerolling those Punk units and getting as many stacks as possible. And our main damage dealers here will be JINX and Twitch, whilst Pantheon and Amumu are tanking it up in front. For your headliner, make sure you look out for a rapid fire JINX in this one. Now in this comp you're going to want tons of AD items as JINX uses a Rage Blade, Lust Whisper and Death Blade, Twitch uses Infinity Edge, Death Blade and Giant Slayer, whilst both tanks can just use whatever tank items you find. Now you gain bonus health and AD when you reroll when playing Punk units, so look out for augments like Prismatic Ticket and Frequent Flyer as you'll be able to get so many stacks super quickly. You can also look out for strong combat augments like Heroic Presence and Ramping Rhythm. With this comp it's all about getting your Punk units in and slow rolling for stacks. JINX is a 1-cost unit so we don't really want to level up early. Play for a streak and focus on your economy as we want to get to 50 gold as quickly as we can so we can start rolling to increase those stacks. Once you're level 5 you can slow roll for JINX and buy 3 and then push to level 6 to do the same for Pantheon and Twitch. After that you can push levels and play Guardian so it gives JINX time to scale up with the Rage Blade. This comp is a ton of fun to play and you can really get some game snowballing when your stacks are soaring through the roof. Okay, moving on, and now it's time to put on your favourite bling as we're going to be showing you how to play our True Damage comp. This comp uses a full True Damage team with a 3-star Senna as your reroll carry and Akali as your late game 4-cost carry too. With your headliner you always want to go for a True Damage Senna as it allows us to play 6 True Damage easily and she'll gain so much extra damage. For items, Senna wants a Spear of Shojin and Nash's Tooth for faster casting alongside a Death Cap for damage. And Caitlyn wants a Spear of Shojin Infinity Edge alongside a True Damage emblem. Akali and Qiyana are both similar as they'll do great with things like Giant Slayer, Hand of Justice and Edge of Night. Finally, Echo is going to be your main tank here so you can slam whatever you get, but we'd recommend Anti-Heal and Shred with things like Sunfire, Warmogs and Evan Shroud. For augments, the True Damage specific one, Blinged Out, is super OP, so keep your eyes out for that one. You can also look out for Heroic Grab Bag to help you hit your Senna 3 easier, or simply go for combat ones like Pumping Up or Jeweled Lotus. During the early game you want to play around True Damage straight away and you want to win streak if you find a headliner for True Damage or just look to lose streak and focus on your economy. Once you're level 6 you'll be able to play around True Damage and Superfan, so roll to look for your Senna headliner. If you are contested you can either push levels, or if not we recommend you slow roll until you've got that Senna 3 as she does so much damage. Once you've hit her you can level up and add in the higher cost units like Akali, Caitlyn and Qiyana. This comp spikes insanely hard once you get your carries online, so make sure you have your items on your True Damage units as they'll get that bling effect too. Okay guys, we're on to our last comp of the day and this is our EDM Moshers comp. Here we'll be rerolling the 2-cost unit Jax and the 3-cost unit Lux and playing 5 EDM to make our EDMs fly around the arena and one-shot enemy boards. With the headliner you definitely want the EDM Jax version instead of Mosher as it makes this comp extremely OP once you hit your upgrades. The best thing about this comp is it's really flexible with items as Zed can hold AD, Lux AP and Jax is a bit of both. First up, you're going to want to get yourself a Hand of Justice and a Jeweled Gauntlet. Now this combo is super important as you want Jax's ability to crit, as it makes all the M's do so too when they use Jax's ability. Lastly, you can build Edge of Night as he'll be getting focus when he jumps in, and for Lux you want a Death Cap, Archangels and Spear of Shojin, while Zed wants a BT, Sterax and Edge of Night. For augments, Idealism is super strong as it buffs up our Zed and Jax. You can also go for Jeweled Lotus, which is insanely OP with the EDM effect, and Submit to the Pit is good too as it gives all the Moshers some extra stats. You can also look out for any other reroll augments too, like Team Building or Shopping Spree. For this one, during stage 2, look to streak whilst playing around Moshers in the early game. Now once you're level 6, here's where you want to roll until you have Jax 3-star and add in EDM units like Lux. Don't forget to also select Jax as your EDM sample. Once you have got your carries 3-star, then it's time to push levels and play more EDM and Mosher units. Focus on the 5 EDM part first, as this will make your units do so much more damage. A neat little trick here too is if you position Lux in the second row, she will actually be able to jump back to the enemy backline if she's on the same side. Well, there we have it. That's 10 super fun comps to play in the Set 10 revival. Now, there are so many more comps to try over on our website too, like Reroll Katarina, Crowd Diver Yone, Rerolling the One-Cost Yasuo, and a ton more. So click the link below to see them all for yourself and have fun. That is what set revivals are all about. A blast from the past, and honestly with this one, even if you go 8 every game but create some tasty remixes in the background, you'll still be having a great time. Thanks for watching guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.